On 26th of January, India does not merely celebrate a date, it commemorates an idea born from struggle, sacrifice, debate, and hope. From this day in 1950, India chose to govern itself through the will of its people, embracing democracy not as a privilege of the few, but as the right of all. India on 26 January 1950 transformed itself into a sovereign democratic republic at a solemn ceremony in the then Darbar Hall, with Dr. Rajendra Prasad sworn in as its first president.
The rulers used force to overcome the opposition.
From colonial rule to constitutional republic, India's journey has been extraordinary, complex, and deeply inspiring. Indian democracy did not emerge overnight. Its roots stretch deep into history, from ancient sabhas and samitis to village panchayats that resolved disputes through collective wisdom. Participatory governance was embedded in Indian civilization long before the emergence of modern democracy.
जनता के लिए एक ही रास्ता है, करो या मरो.
The freedom struggle against the British transformed these traditions into a mass democratic movement that made the voices for Swaraj or self-rule grow louder.
बम्बई, अहमदाबाद, मद्रास, कानपुर और अन्य प्रांतों विद्रोह की भावना जाग उठी.
Among these voices, the champion of Satyagraha, Mahatma Gandhi, turned politics into a people's movement where even the poorest Indian had a stake in shaping the nation's future.
India, that is Bharat, shall be a sovereign democratic republic.
Take a decision in common and march in a cooperative way on that road which is bound to lead us to unity.
All that we require is honesty of purpose, firmness of determination, a desire to understand each other's viewpoints, birthright of equity and equal opportunity in this country.
To find a solution to the Indian question.
When independence arrived in 1947, India faced a daunting question. Could a nation of such immense diversity survive as a democracy?
With hordes seeking escape from the danger.
The answer would come not from rhetoric, but from the Indian Constitution. At the heart of India's constitutional journey stood Dr. Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar, a jurist, economist, social reformer, and the chief architect of the Indian Constitution. Ambedkar believed political freedom would be hollow without social justice. He argued that democracy in India must rest on liberty, equality, and fraternity, not merely as ideals, but as enforceable rights. The Indian Constitution abolished untouchability, guaranteed equality before the law, empowered citizens with fundamental rights, and provided safeguards for historically marginalized communities, thereby ensuring representation and dignity to every citizen.
The drafting of our new constitution has been no easy task.
Adopted on 26 November 1949 and enforced on 26 January 1950, the Constitution of India turned into a newly independent nation into the world's largest democracy overnight. India's unity was not built on uniformity. It was shaped through federalism, where diversity was recognized, not erased. The reorganization of Indian states on linguistic lines in the 1950s and 60s was a defining moment. Instead of suppressing regional identities, India accommodated them within a constitutional framework. This flexible federal structure strengthened national unity. From Tamil to Bengali, Marathi to Malayalam, India spoke in many tongues but listened as one republic. Six years later, Indian federalism continues to evolve, balancing national priorities with regional aspirations. The strength of the Indian Republic has always rested with its people. From the very first general election in 1951-52, when millions voted, many for the first time in their lives, India placed its faith in universal adult franchise. That democratic faith also helped shape India's leadership. The Indian Republic went on to have its fourth Prime Minister in a woman, and over the decades, women have risen to occupy the highest constitutional office of the President of India, reinforcing the promise of equality in practice, something even the world's oldest democracy, the United States of America, is still struggling to achieve. And a free India quickly made giant strides in many different fields, such as steel, heavy engineering, dams, pharma companies, an Indian space research organization that came up in 1969.
Range ready?
Ready.
Today at 15:45 hours.
4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
The years that followed saw India's technological prowess being solidified by successful nuclear tests at Pokhran in Rajasthan. The people of India drove their nation's remarkable transformation, from achieving food security and scientific vigor to emerging as a nuclear and space power. India steadily built national capability through democratic consensus. Over the decades, technology-driven public platforms have expanded public participation in the electoral process, boosted innovation and deepened inclusion, while infrastructure, education, healthcare have strengthened the foundations of growth. Powering this transformation is India's youth, innovative, ambitious and globally connected. They redefine India's identity from startups to space missions, from digital public infrastructure to green technology.
Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi sir's Startup India mission has been a great accelerant in our journey, and it has, the idea of Atmanirbhar Bharat has really pushed us to start believing in building our own robots. We don't want to rely on foreign goods and foreign robots to look at a Vikasit Bharat, which I think aligns with the vision that the Prime Minister has set for us, and we are really excited to be on this mission for the country and for the future.
So this has been a great journey because Prime Minister Minister's vision of enabling the entrepreneurs and to join startup and be an entrepreneur. It's a great initiative in itself. And besides that, Prime Minister's vision of Modiji's vision of Har Ghar Bijli Yojana, Surya Ghar Yojana and independence, power independence. So that is enabled us to look into something where we are trying to capture more efficient use of solar power and also reduce use of water for cleaning purposes.
10 years back there were 500 startups, now there are 2 lakh plus startups, and it just goes to show what focus can bring in terms of not just a revolution for us, but also a revolution for 2 lakh plus startups across the country.
So literally we all have a myth that robotics is for outer world. We wanted to break that myth and we wanted to have the products from India to the world. So that is our thing. Maybe we more incline with the message of PM. So whatever he says, like next 10 years would be the great years of us for us. Maybe now it's like time for India. So we go with his flows and then we take his message very sensibly, and then we wanted to move forward in this direction.
A special thanks to PM Narendra Modi that has given us this opportunity and appreciated our startup. We have been funded and been supported a lot by Startup India, and heartful thankful to them.
We believe that this initiative is going to propel a lot of youngsters and new generation entrepreneurs coming in and bringing technology to the nation.
Mimicking a cow stomach process we mimic in a civil chambers and then we convert. That's what we do. Modiji's vision is great. We are making it into reality. We are now in his Swachh Bharat vision. We are now as a startups. We are making it a reality. We are now in 400 plus customers in 25 states, and we have started in Maldives and Bangladesh. Make in India for the world.
Moreover, the Republic's belief in its people has powered some of its most remarkable journeys, including the Indian Space Odyssey. From its humble beginnings, when rocket components were transported on bicycles and bullock carts, India built a world-class space program rooted in scientific temper and national purpose. Indian satellites now connect remote villages, provide weather forecasting, support disaster management, strengthen national security, and power communication across the country, bringing space technology into everyday life. With missions to the moon and Mars and preparations for its own human spaceflight, India has emerged as a reliable, cost-effective and leading space power, earning global recognition while inspiring generations of young Indians.
41 साल पहले कोई भारतीय अंतरिक्ष में गए थे और उन्होंने हमें बताया था कि ऊपर से भारत कैसा दिखता है, और कहीं ना कहीं मुझे लगता है कि हम सब ये जानना चाहते हैं कि आज भारत कैसा दिखता है। मैं आपको बताता हूँ, आज का भारत स्पेस से महत्वाकांक्षी दिखता है। आज का भारत निडर दिखता है। आज का भारत कॉन्फिडेंट दिखता है। आज का भारत गर्व से पूर्ण दिखता है। और इन्हीं सब कारणों की वजह से मैं एक बार फिर से कह सकता हूँ कि आज का भारत अभी भी सारे जहाँ से अच्छा दिखता है। जल्दी धरती पर मुलाकात करते हैं।
Guided by the belief that the world is one family, India's leadership in the 21st century blends assertion with morality. From championing equitable development to amplifying concerns of developing nations on climate change, debt and digital access, India speaks from lived experience. Today, drawing on its own development experience and long engagement with developing nations, a resurgent India increasingly positions itself as a key voice of the global South. Not just development, India's cultural soft power, from yoga and Ayurveda to cinema and cuisine, has connected hearts across the world's continents. Indian cinema has emerged as one of the Republic's most persuasive global voices. From packed theatres overseas to standing ovations at international film festivals, Indian stories now travel far beyond borders. Contemporary filmmakers have found space at platforms like that of the Cannes, while Indian productions have won top global awards, proving that stories rooted in local realities can resonate universally. India's cultural soft power rests on ideas that are centuries old, yet strikingly modern. Yoga, recognized by the United Nations, with an International Day of Yoga, is practiced across continents on 21st of June as a symbol of wellness and harmony. Millions of yoga practitioners join global celebrations every year to mark the International Day of Yoga.
We only get one body a lifetime, right? This is it. And it's incumbent on us to take care of this body. And through these practices of these different asanas, through the practice of pranayama, through the practice of relaxation, through the practice of proper nutrition, through the practice of proper breathing, we're able to succeed at living a reasonably long and happy and healthy life.
Last 3 years I practice yoga with Professor Satyendra. It's very special for me and other students also. And I learned about philosophy, about how to perfect alignment in the asana. Brazilian people like it, yoga and practice here. I'm also a yoga teacher. And I think in the future, more and more people join to practice yoga.
I opened Studio Yoga 4 years ago, paid a bit of lessons for our Madrid yogis here. The studio is all about finding your inner peace, and that's the main thing I myself find through the practice.
I'm very proud to see how yoga has been received in Spain, having been celebrated in our royal palace in a huge way for the last 10 years. I'm Spanish. I was born here. I've been brought up here, but my mother is Indian. And yoga is my way of keeping connected with my roots, with my culture.
On the global sporting stage, Indian athletes are rewriting perceptions. From historic medal tallies at international championships to world-class performances in shooting, boxing, badminton, athletics and chess, India's sporting rise reflects a confident, youthful republic. Cricket remains a powerful cultural connector, while new sporting leagues and grassroots programs nurture global champions. Every podium finish carries India's flag and its aspirations into the world arena. Alongside, India's sustained economic growth propels its rise into the world's fastest growing major economy, fueled by enterprise, reforms and the aspirations of its people. And as the country goes from strength to strength and celebrates its 77th Republic Day, a question now uppermost in people's minds is, how soon will India become the third largest economy of the world?
India will become the third largest economy in the coming few years itself. It's not a question of will it become, that's a certainty that will happen. It's a question of within the next few years, we will definitely become the third largest economy. What's working very well is the last decade of very transformational change which has happened in our country, and it's a very well thought through, well defined and very focused execution. It's built on 4 pillars: the pillar of public investment in physical, digital and social infra, the pillar of making sure that the entire society grows along with the growth of the country, so very inclusive growth. Third, the pillar of manufacturing and innovation. Fourth, the pillar of simplification. All this combined with the base of technology that we have put, we can very clearly say that India is going to grow with 6 to 8% real growth and a moderate 2 to 4% inflation and a nominal growth of 10 to 13% with 95% confidence interval in the next 5 years. So that's the kind of growth journey which is there, we can say, with a lot of confidence. And what's working very well is that the entire society is seeing the benefit of it.
Today, India's story is one of trust in its citizens and its democratic institutions, proving that when power truly belongs to the people, real progress follows. 76 years ago, India made a promise to itself, a promise of justice, liberty, equality and fraternity. That promise lives on in every vote cast, every voice heard and every dream pursued. And as India celebrates its 77th Republic Day, it reaffirms not just the power of its constitution, but the spirit of its people. Wishing you all a very happy Republic Day. Jai Hind.